All right, guys, welcome in, welcome back. Hopefully the mic's working. Looks like it is. All right, Tuesday night. Isn't it Tuesday? I'm almost forgetting what day is it. Wednesday. What day is it? Anyway, crazy, man. So we got a lot of stuff to get into. We got a lot of warnings to get into. We're going to jump in just a few articles of the day, and then we're going to get into the fire zones. We're going to get into some alerts. Now, I put a couple links in the description of a couple videos that we'll get into that may be a much watch, especially if you are in Europe. So here we go. Let's jump into this. Breaking mandatory evacuations ordered as fire threatens hundreds of homes in LA. This was from yesterday, but we're going to get in here and take a look at the maps. We're going to look at the winds, and we're going to look at the aerosols, the fire accelerants that could be being deployed out here. So we'll dig into that a little later. But here we go. We got YouTube's getting ready to remove 17,000 channels. Well, actually, they already removed them. Hundreds of thousands of videos. 500 million comments for hate speech. Now, how do they say what is hate speech? They have it wide open to pretty much say, whatever they want. It'll be, all the stuff that we like to talk about. Anyway, so they're definitely doing it again, doing another purge. Same thing over on Facebook, Twitter, all of them. That's why you guys need to subscribe to the backup channels, the D-Lives, the Twitches, and all the links we got in there, because they'll eventually take us down, just like they did my first channel. It happens every single time, so for now they're in full beast mode. Anyway, we're going to get into some more here. Let's go check this out. Japan abandoned the development of 5G networks for health of citizens. What about the Fukushima? What about all the Ebola viruses and all these weird viruses they're working with? They don't need 5G for population control because they got Fukushima. They got a whole bunch of viruses that they're working with right now, and they created some other weird virus. I mean, this is the same place that has planted human brains into monkeys, into pigs, and just all kinds of weird stuff, so they act like they're helping the people. It's too late, man. They've already got their own population agenda going on. Another article here about Bill Gates funded chemical cloud could help stop global warming. This is coming out of CNBC. The mainstream, they're all back in this climate crisis stuff. Fires burning across the Amazon. They burn there every year. They were talking about the fires, the purpose fires in the Amazon, calling it climate change, when the fires in the Amazon were normal, and they were farmers burning off. They were companies coming in, clearing land off for infrastructure, when the real fire hazard was over in Africa. Just more lies coming out of the sock puppet mainstream. Here's a new mind-blowing study. Planting trees reduces the carbon better than carbon taxes. Well, I agree with that 100%. They did it in India, and it actually has helped the levels. Of course they use like slave labor to plant the billions of trees, but they got it done, and you can actually tell on the maps that it's helping. All this crap on carbon taxes, that's just another way to rip the people off and to help bring in the New World Order. That's all it is. Now, we also have gene editing unintentionally adds bovine DNA, goat DNA, and bacterial DNA. Mouse researchers find. So the gene editing of DNA inside living cells is considered by many preeminent technology breakthrough of the new millennium. No, this is Frankenstein science. It's only a matter of time for this stuff just gets out of control, especially with them melting the Arctic and the Antarctic, and they'll bring up some kind of virus that killed off whatever back then, some kind of plague. I mean, we're definitely living in the Matrix. So altering cells to treat human disease, altering crops, livestock for breeding, agriculture has been criticized. Chinese researcher He Jiankey claims to have edited human babies to resist HIV by altering a gene called CCR5. See, this is all just madmen, man, doing some crazy stuff. So here's a video. I haven't seen it yet, but it says UK Berkeley professor helps create viral video to warn about the killer robots. It's like the Skynet. Yeah, it's where they drop all them little nano drones out of a plane. Yeah, I haven't seen this, and I'm not going to play it because they'll get me. But I'll have the link in the description if you want to watch this. So here we go. PG&E considering shutoffs for parts of 17 counties, none of them on the Central Coast. So all the rich people are going to continue to have the power, while all the poor people, all the people that is paying all their ridiculous, gouging taxes. I mean, have you seen the gas prices out here? It's just ridiculous what's going on in California. That's the model. I think they're running the people out, or trying to run them out so they can build the mega cities. They're burning them out to clear the land. It's all land grabs. So if your county is affected, here they are: Amador, Butte, Colusa, El Dorado, Lake, Marlin, Mendocino, Napa, Nevada, Placer, Plumas, all kinds of them here.
They lost everything.
Talk about blowing an eardrum out. Sorry about that, guys. I try to stop these things, but they automatically go off. So I wanted to go and take a quick look. Remember, we had the NASA chemtrail sniffer plane, the science lab, flying around all the fault lines. I wanted to see where they were. Well, they haven't flown in over a month. They took off from Kansas, flew around all the fault zones, and it's not showing the path they took up around Yellowstone, but I was just checking in on them. You got to keep your eyes on these guys and see what they're doing. We also had the department announce its plan to collect DNA from migrants crossing the border. Now, we talked about this several years ago when I had co-host, how they were going to microchip and take the DNA from migrants and then old people. They were going to hit the old folks' homes first, then the migrants, start shipping people, and then pretty soon it'll be everybody. So just more crazy news. You don't want to give up your DNA, because then they can frame you for stuff. All right, so this is way back in 2011, but I wanted just to bring this out. This ESO's new compact laser guide star unit tested. Now, what does this laser do? This laser shoots up in the air and it creates artificial stars. So the laser has a case of powerful 20-watt yellow beam operating at 589 nanometers. Makes the sodium atoms in the layer at 90 kilometers up in the atmosphere glow. So it creates an artificial star in the sky that can be observed by a telescope. See, they have these lasers that do all kinds of things, man. You can start fires with lasers. You can burn holes through cars with these lasers. You can blow stuff up. We've been talking a lot about all the radiation that's been leaking out of Japan. And check this out. This came out a couple days back, or actually last 2019. High levels of radiation found in processed foods imported near Fukushima. What are they even doing with food around Fukushima, man? I mean, common sense tells you that's a dead zone. You can't get nowhere near it. It's emanating up out of the ground. You have just radioactive trash bags stacked piles high, right outside the door. It's just all maddening. It's the dark side is going crazy. Then you have the House committee votes to increase funding for Energy's DARPA by $2.9 billion. The House Science, Space, and Technology Committee moved a bill to reauthorize ARPA with additional funding as well as restrictions and oversight. That don't mean shit. That won't mean nothing. So we do have coming up here, there's going to be, I got this link right down there in the description. This is the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. They're going to be streaming this in about 15 hours. This is something to pay attention to. Maybe some information in here that we'll have to break down. So DARPA, most of their technology that they're building right now is for civil war. Like almost all of it. They're mapping all the caves across the United States and abroad. And I mean, they're just getting, they got funded $400 million, $550 million, $2.9 billion. What are they doing with this money? Well, they're setting up for the New World Order. That's what they're doing. We have Exxon goes on trial for lying about the climate crisis. See, they're going to push this climate crisis. The global warming didn't work. Climate change is not working. So now they got climate crisis. It's all CC 33, always using that number. If you go by the numbers, which I usually don't. Well, we've been talking about the aerosols that have been deployed over in the desert, over in Africa. Well, 4 people were just killed by a rain bomb. It just started flooding, causing havoc, killing 4 right in the zones that we were watching the aerosols being deployed over the desert. More weather manipulation. This is more information on that ARPA. It shows their technologies. These are partly weather control technologies. So I was trying to look at some of their newest news. So the Department of Energy, I mean, these guys all have, this is all part of the weather plan. So here's a video I was talking about, the warning for Europe. Now, I don't know who this guy is. Somebody sent me this. I listened to a little bit of it. But he's warning of a major attack, like in the next 36 hours, 39 targets, 5 cities. One of them was London, all throughout Europe. And one was something even about a nuke warning. So I don't know if it's this guy or the guest he had on here. Might have been that guy. But it's something worth listening to. You never know, man, if this does happen or if you can foil the plans. Just like hopefully we can do on the fire zone. So heads up for everybody out in Europe. You might want to listen to this video and see if it has any credence out there. Now, before we jump into the maps, I want to take you over here to the main page. If you go to my most viewed videos, back in 2016, I did a video on a mass methane leak over on the West Coast. I mean, this is ridiculous. So this happened in 2016 on 2/25/2016. I mean, this was a mega methane leak that happened. And the video went pretty viral, and NASA come out and tried to counter this video, saying they said the satellite reset, and when it fired back up, it created all this fake stuff. But I was getting reports of people getting sick from this. Let's get in full screen.
That's great, just coming out of there.
So, I mean, it was this bad, and it showed up on all the different maps. NASA comes out with a statement trying to say it was some kind of reset on the satellite. And then I did another video. I found that the European satellite, completely different satellite, picked up the same methane explosion off the west coast. And then NASA took down their response video. But what they've done is they've changed, the Earth Null has went in and changed this. So 2/26/2016, let's go see what they changed it to. So let's go to the Earth Null, because this has to do with, you know, some of the stuff going on the west coast. So we put this on the CO2. Now let's bring this back to 2016 to, we'll try 2/22, because this is almost like the anniversary date with here within a couple days. What was the date? Was it 26th? What was that date again? 2/26. Yeah. So 2/26. Click apply. And then we were on 1800 hours. Oh, I got to go backwards. Get it back. Oh, what the heck? So 2/26. I'm trying to get it on the 1800 hours so it matches up exactly. So I'm just trying to prove how, when something happens that they don't want you to know, they change it. Now, they left it on here for a good year, but I mean, I was going back and forth with NASA, telling them they were full of shit, and we brought out the other satellites, completely different satellites that picked it up, which they've scrubbed that data too. I mean, I do have old videos that has it in there, but this happened, man. It started emanating. It just kind of, back then, kind of freaked me out, because see, it come out in all the models. I mean, it come out in everything. It was a major explosion. The way I thought of this was, to me, this gas was kind of like an oil, you know, for the fault lines. And now it's not there. So it started out, see, this is the data they're showing you before the explosion. So that matches pretty good with that, but that's on 2/25. Let me mute it, and then I'll just play it and see if I scroll through. But you could see right where it emanated out of. But when we see a lot of these fires popping off, see, it just all blew up all at once. People were complaining of headaches, sick. I mean, this is running all the way down the fault lines, all the way up. Now, if we go over to the worldview map, and you start looking at where these fires are, you got the one down there in the Bajas, and they go, all these little red dots here, if you can see the red dots, are the fires. Now, we know the Paradise Fire was definitely a weapon, but you see these fires are all lit up in the exact same place as on this video. See, they start out right there, go up the coast. It just makes me wonder, man, what is going on out here? So anyway, just a heads up, because we know that ground penetrating radar can cause an earthquake. We know that super low frequencies, extra low frequencies, can cause earthquakes. We know that they're using, low frequencies. First, they're using high frequencies. They're bouncing it off the ionosphere, turning it into low frequencies, hitting the VLF transmitters, turning it into very low frequencies. That's why we're seeing the weird patterns in the cloud. Check this out. We not only have the two storms out here by Japan, we have an extra tropical storm 21. And then we have an invest area 21 west. How's that even possible? When a hurricane or a typhoon goes through, it cools the water down. There should not be back to back typhoons. It goes against all meteorological items, and they're not showing a system down here in the Gulf of Mexico that should be there. While we're here, let's just check the mimic real fast. The air smells like bleach, man. I have no idea. I mean, it's hard to know what they're pumping out. And, just like the Sahara dust that's coming over, all the bunker fuel they deployed yesterday, who knows what that smells like? I mean, a lot of people, when they're spraying heavy aerosols, say it smells metallic. I'm not sure, man. I wish I knew. So why is the mimic map not loading? Don't tell me they took it down. Try the mimic 2. I thought that's what I hit. Stream's kind of running just a little slow. Alright, it's going to work for us. Alright, so I just want to look at this water up in Japan. It's being sucked backwards. Want to look how they're stopping the water vapor from going into California. It should be raining in California right now. They're stopping it right at the shore. We're going to zoom in on this a little better. I mean, we're watching weather modification of the river in the sky. I've showed all the companies that steer these rivers in the sky, all the patents, all the technology. It's actually really easy technology. A ground-based radar can steer this atmospheric river. You don't need HARP, although that helps with the steering of the jet stream winds, like the ionospheric heating. So look at this. We have this huge cold front, and this was engineered, but look at the radius cut out of the water vapor. That is insane right there. I've never even seen that before. But back over here on the west coast, look how it gets to the coast. Hey, thanks out there, Ira. And it just rides down the coast, but it won't go into California. They're blocking it. Now we know they just dumped out tons of bunker fuel out here. We have another little system here. Let me see if that's spinning the right way. See, this atmospheric river should be coming right on up, but the super cold, heavy, cold air has pushed it off. This thing's going to snap around, or what they're going to do is bring in some kind of Arctic polar vortex again. That's what it's looking like. This is like the setup of a polar vortex coming in. All right, so I got that documented good. I just want to really look right there. Okay. Documented. Whoa, what's this stuff? Okay. I thought I have this. I don't know why it keeps auto starting. So let's go ahead and jump in here. Hey, thanks. Wake up. Yeah, no to the NWO. Now, if you remember yesterday, let me go back to yesterday and check out the bunker fuel operations out here. Let me put the layer on all these white, weird billowing lines that billow out from a point. These are all the weather modification ships. I can click this and you'll be able to see them better. And look at that. So that's where they were yesterday. Pretty much where all the fires start. The southern parts, almost where the fires start, and then all the way up. I mean, the fires go up into BC. But still, okay, now let's go to today. Where are they at? There's a few. We got, a few right here. What are they doing out here? That's what we're trying to pay attention to. How could all them ships mysteriously not be spraying anymore? I mean, you can only see a handful now. And you can't see them at all without that layer. So where'd they all go? They didn't travel completely across the ocean overnight. There's no possible way. And you got to really zoom in on here, but you can see some little aerosol dumps. And we got some strange stuff going on right over Redding, California. Well, between Redding and Chico, again, this is the same zone as yesterday. It goes all the way into Nevada. We got a few fires down here. We can see the little red dots that represents the fires. But check out this cloud anomaly coming off Eureka. I'm trying to get that to load real good. Click the layers. This is just crazy right here. This is the same thing we seen over in the United Arab Emirates. Same signatures. So this thing just growed in a couple hours. So we got the weird little frequencies. We know right here is where they're stopping the atmospheric river. You have just a twisting mass aerosol right here. All these are aerosols. But let me back out so you can see the scope. This changed in just a few hours. Look at it now. We'll zoom in on it. Look at the weird, freaky signatures in the clouds. You have the man-made color of the clouds, but look at this. This is the same signatures we had off of South America and over in the United Arab Emirates. So we'll click another layer here, and then look, it just grows. It's not moving, it's just growing. You can still see the aerosols, the synthetic clouds, and they're spraying the crap out of it. So what are they setting up? So that's a massive, freaky cloud anomaly right up the coast of Northern California. Like I said, that's just within a few hours. Each pass, I can't remember how, what the distance is or time difference between these passes. They do 3 passes in a day. So something to keep our eyes on right here. And they're keeping the aerosols right in the same spots. Here's a big super volcano right here. So what are they doing right here? They have an aerosol going right down the highway. So close eye on the West Coast, and not just California. We're talking all the way up to Oregon. We have fires. We have aerosols being deployed. I mean, look where all these fires are, and then look at all the aerosols and all the frequencies. It's not coming in real clear tonight. Let me click the layer, see if we can get it clear. Yeah, I've done a lot of shows with Ghibli. I mean, if you go back and look at some of my older videos, I used to do interviews way back when I had my studio desk and all that stuff, my real old live streams when I had a studio, and had a lot of guests on there, a lot of guests, a lot of activists. If I ever get my studio rebuilt, we'll do it again like that. Look at all the X's. This thing is just not coming in clear tonight. So you can see that they got certain zones that they're completely targeting tons more fires in Washington. So the aerosols and the fires are all kind of going in together. And then look at all these fires around volcanic areas. You know, sure, some of these are probably regular forest fires. Some of them could be, you know, intentional burns. Some of them could be volcanic. But look, even up here in BC, and it goes all the way up British Columbia, all the way up. Remember all the fires up here in Alaska? You know, I mean, this is the whole part of the Ring of Fire. Well, that storm sure has not moved a whole lot. Well, it looks to me like they're setting up something else. And here's the other thing. Remember the weird little islands? Look, they're smoking again. And it just makes you wonder what is going on. Is there magma on the move, like deep into the crust, that's creating, you know, these fires on these little volcanic islands out here? I mean, you got fires in Arizona right now. Look at the one here near Flagstaff. That's a pretty big fire. It almost looks like it's got waves. So yeah, that fire was pretty small. It looks like the wind's just kind of blowing it straight southeast. Montana's where all the aerosols were deployed yesterday. Look at what they got now. They got a weather system. Still spraying the top side of this massive land cyclone. The spraying operations are back over Nova Scotia and all over up here in the Northeast. Tons of aerosols. See, they're steering the storm over to Europe. Europe's been getting pounded by these storms just like we have. But anyway, yeah, mega spraying operation out here in the Gulf of Mexico. Look, and it doesn't show any kind of storm on the tropical cyclone page. But, I mean, we can see it here clear as day. All right, let's just kind of go over this. We got aerosols way down here off of South America. By the Falkland Islands. So mass spraying operation in South America, down by the Rio Grande. So all these weather programs, we see bunker fuel out here all the time. You got a huge ionospheric heater right here in Peru. And then our floods are over here in Kenya. You got fires down in the south, fires all over Madagascar. So the Congo's got all kinds of rain going. Right here's where our weird anomalies have been going on. They're still doing some kind of testing over here. See, these aren't natural clouds. I wouldn't be surprised if a dust storm blows off this tomorrow. So it looks like Spain's getting the rain. Look, they're starting a new spraying operation out here off the coast of Spain. In fact, it's a massive spraying operations. Big spraying operation. Where would they be flying? They're flying straight up and down. Where would they be going? the flight paths do not make sense. You're probably not going to find these flights on the flight tracker. So this is intentional spraying of all these areas. Here we go with some more weird clouds, weird chemtrails, low level and high level. Another black chemtrail. We have another black chemtrail out here. What's going on out here in the Atlantic? Let's see if there's any bunker fuel being deployed. Oh, we do. We got a little bit. They're little short ones. One did a U-turn out there. So I don't see no major ones, but just a couple small ones. So it looks like they're setting up for Portugal, Spain for the next weather system, and it goes all the way up. Since spraying operations going all the way up into Ireland, the UK is getting ready to get blasted again. And then, you know, you got the false flag alerts coming within the next 36 hours. So keep your eyes over on this side of the world. Mediterranean Sea weather program. See if we can get that to catch them when they first started. Yep. So you can see the aerosols, you know, spraying out here, then all of a sudden it turns into a weather system. We'll try all the layers here, and that's what it's turned into. So big spraying operation out here in the Mediterranean Sea, and then over in the I don't even know how to pronounce that, Tyrrhenian Sea. Look at this over in Naples. Big spraying operation. This is all undeniable. Italy's been getting pounded this year. The Adriatic Sea, they're spraying right over. Going right into Croatia. Spraying operations up in Germany. Fires all over Romania, Serbia, Ukraine. We have fires all across the planet, just like we have protests and everything else. Things are getting ready to hit the fan. We got spraying operations and fires in Russia. Look at this. Everywhere you go, every continent you go to, there's aerosols being deployed and fires. With all these fires, how are we having global warming? Because they're creating a cloud deck. It's not a... You got leftover aerosols all out over here. Are they starting up a new... This is that other area. There's huge weather modifications companies right here in the United Arab Emirates. I always like to back up and go look at that crazy signature that we've seen. And then we just seen it over off the coast of California. So check this out. Here's the same signature. These are not gravity wave clouds. This is ionization of the sky. So this is the same thing we just seen over on the West Coast. This happened back on October 16th. We have fires in the middle of the ocean again. So I don't know if this is volcanic. I guess it'd have to almost be out here in the middle. I don't see no land masses. A little bit of land right here. But how could you have fires in the middle of the ocean unless there's volcanoes? So some strange earth stuff going on right now. And a lot of it looks like it could be volcanic. Look at all the fires in Australia, Indonesia. Tasmania's back on fire. Now we watched the Miles Research Company use the atmospheric river to put the fires out here back in January. New Zealand's a complete whiteout from all the aerosols that's been deployed over here. You know, they've already took all the guns out here. You see all the frequencies in the clouds. Guam keeps producing these typhoons. Wow, this is another little super little one like Dorian was. Here's Guam. Perfect every time. These cyclones are going through the exact same place. Look at the color of it. The color of it is different than all the other ones. So how's the weather out there, Captain Guam? You're out there somewhere. You're getting the outflow bands, some of the chemtrails. Look at that toxic soup out there they're feeding it with. See, you got a typhoon that two typhoons just went through. The water should be cooled down. You almost have a secondary typhoon right in front of it. Like the weather stuff that we're seeing defies all meteorologists, and then they won't come forward about it. They just make up new names for stuff. I forgot what I want to look at real quick. Let's go to the tropical cyclone page. And let's just take a look at this typhoon. Let me add it here in the browser. Oh, wow. Look at this. It was supposed to only be a category 2. And now it's going to be a category 4 going into a category 3. They ramped it up. See how every single time it goes right to the Guam Islands and then wham, it picks up like right here. Every time this year. Let's take a look at the mimic on it. Try the last 48 hours. What we'll see probably is remember we had the square eye wall with the typhoon that hit Japan the first time. That actually showed it weakening. Okay, so here it is going by Guam. Pretty round eye, not perfectly circle, which is normal. It's going on up. Look, then does a eye wall replacement. And now right here, you've seen the little purples. Okay, watch up here. Watch out in front of it. We almost get purple colors, like a couple pulses in the front side of this. So it actually looks like it's weakening. And it just dissipates the outside band. This outside band just gets destroyed. Okay, it gets past Guam. It's doing an eye wall replacement. And it don't look as strong. So it's actually did like a double eye wall replacement. So what to see by tomorrow, that thing's going to be probably super wicked looking. We'll see what it looks like on the IR. Let me take the tracks off so we can see a little better. See if there's any wind shear. See, there's wind shear all over the red. So they're actually getting this to go right through the wind shear. I'm missing something. I'm missing a button. Looking at the sea level pressure. All right, where's my button? Wow, where's the dust layer? Look, there's a boat right out in front of that. Or there's a surface. There's the boats, buoys. Wow, where's the layer for the dust? All right, it's not showing it. That's weird. Yeah, climate change is the weather manipulation. I mean, no doubt about it. They're causing it. They're causing the heating over the Arctic. They've been trying to do it for 100 years, and they're starting to be successful. Yeah, if you go deep into the research, they've been trying to get into this for 100 years. They want the resources. They want to put that railroad in underneath the Bering Sea, the One World Railroad. Now I'm kind of looking at these other two. You guys won't be able to see them. Okay. All right, we're probably done with this. All right, let's go. Let me check something out here. All right, so here is all our storms. These are the wave heights. So 36 foot. Okay, what I want to look at, we know the bunker fuel's been out here. Let me check the sea surface temperature. So look, the cyclones are in the cold water. The cyclones are in the cold water. What's making these typhoons? Well, I'm on the sea surface temperature anomalies. Still, there's no super hot water. I'll put it back on the anomalies. Yeah, that freaked me out. I'm like, how could they be there? That's cold water anomalies. So look, the hot spot has cooled down. Let me go back a couple days. Check this out. Look at that. So we had this huge heat anomaly. And then it dropped out. So it's like it's pulsing. And then we get to today, and it won't give me tomorrow. So it's on a downtrend right now. Let's go ahead and check the polar vortex winds. It's starting to bust apart. still huge rapid heating event. See, they're heating the Antarctic up right now. Our wind anomalies dying down here around the equator. In fact, it's dropped south. So this big wind event is starting to drop south. It's starting to spread out and slow down. And then let's look up at the Arctic. And now it's starting to pick up. They're starting to create the polar vortex. We'll see if there's any heating up here. Nope, not yet. For the heck of it, let's see what the surface temperatures are. And let's just see what kind of cold. I think this only goes up a day or two, but let's just see where the cold air is going. We're looking at the surface cold air. So at the surface, it wasn't showing nothing too big. Let's try the jet stream. Alright, so yesterday we documented the jet stream. In fact, we can go back to yesterday. Okay, so yesterday we were watching what the bunker fuel was. Wow, that's some high winds. So look, we're in the white right here. This is on the 23rd. This is tomorrow. So tomorrow we have mega high winds coming up over British Columbia and then straight down the California coast. .209-mile-an-hour winds in the jet stream. Let's kind of get there. So it's 70-mile-an-hour winds. Let's drop down. So 62. Let's drop down. Let's go to the surface winds. Just see what they're showing. Wow, what are the... that's some weird winds funneling up. Why all these are funneling down. Alright, so according to this, man, we should have a break from chemtrails anywhere. Maybe a little bit right here in the moisture where, you know, Montana, South Dakota. We should be getting a couple days break with no aerosols being deployed. Oh, there's something. If I can bring this up, I got to show you these pictures somebody sent me. See if I can get my email up here. Alright, where was that? Okay, here's a weird wind anomaly. Let me get this brought in here. I mean, this is weird looking. Let me bring this over. See if I can zoom in on this. This was out in the Gulf of Mexico. Look at that. Let me click the other picture. It looks like a vortex out here. Look at that. So this was out in the Gulf of Mexico yesterday around 10:50 p.m. And that's some strange looking stuff right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. So thanks for sending them pictures to me, William. Much love for them. Alright, let's go check the get this playing one more time. Let me unhide this. And I want to probably knock this down to about every 30 minutes. We're just going to do like 12 frames just so I can get it to load. We'll check out the fires like close as we can get. We can see the aerosols. Yeah, we definitely want to see this weird formation. So here's all the aerosols we've seen on the worldview. Here's that weird cloud anomaly. So I'm just trying to get that pointed out. If you can see that, then right through here. Wonder why I can't leave that up. Okay. Well, it's going to take this a minute to load. Get a drink here. Look at the X. So I'm just going, real slow on this right now. Look, you can see all the fires burning. You can see the aerosols being deployed, starting to go into night. I mean, we can see the wind patterns. We can see this fire right here. So where I got that highlighted. The winds were going kind of south and then southeast. You go up a frame, then they're going straight south. You go up another frame, they're going a little bit farther to the west, and then now they're going to the west. So we can definitely see swirling in the wind patterns. We can see a J-shaped chemtrail where they did a weird J-shaped pattern. Now let's see if I can put this on like the fire layer here. Fire temperature, let's try this. Now this should bring out some of the fire action. Yeah, you can't really see that real good. Let's try the air mass. Yeah, that's probably not going to help us. Try the sulfur dioxide. I haven't tried that one. Alright, so that's not picking it up. That should pick up bunker fuel though. Here we got ash. So some of the chemtrails are coming out as ash. I'm just trying these different layers. I mean, we need all these tools, try to figure out, what we're looking at here with the fires. We'll be able to tell which way the winds are blowing by the smoke. That's not going to lie. And whatever this weird thing is that they made there, you can see the cloud heights grew. Yeah, I was trying to document this in, all these different little maps. And then come tomorrow, you know, when they start the fires, when they get the fires going, we got this documented. We can go back. But I mean, this is just a freak cloud right there. So the fires really aren't showing up too good on here, and it may be because I'm only 30 minutes 12 frames. Let's do 10 minutes. Yeah, so we'll really be able to zoom in. If some big fire blasts off, you can get this thing down to 10-minute increments, and you'll be able to know if it's fires or try to enhance this, just see what happens. Wonder if I could invert the colors. Yeah, it's not gonna help us on that layer. Alright, let's just check the radars real quick. Then I'm gonna have to probably call this a show. And we're gonna go jump over. See if this picks up any of the fire stuff. Man, what's wrong with this thing? It's like we're missing a whole bunch of data. Okay, now here it comes. Look at all the snow on the ground right there. Now we could zoom in on the fires a little better. Yeah, I mean, I try to cover everybody. It's like hard, man. This is a lot of stuff. All right, load for us. Here we go. So that's weird, man. The fires aren't even really showing up. Let's go up north. I mean, will they show up in Northern California? Alright, here we go. Yeah, that kind of, it looks like little volcanic flumes coming out. Okay, I don't want that. Let's just check the radar, see if anything's going on with them. It didn't change. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and call this show. I want to thank everybody now for helping us out. Thanks everybody that shares this information out. I mean, that's all we can do till they take us down. somehow we need to rally everybody, get them prepared for what's coming, because something's coming. You got civil war going pretty much all across the planet, and they're definitely going to bring it here. You know, whether they do it by the left-right paradigm or they do it by a natural, unnatural disaster or a huge false flag, but it's coming. Anyway, no fear. We got to keep strong. Anyway, guys, much love. God willing, we'll be back here tomorrow night.